Call the meeting order on June 10th at 4 p.m. Confirmation of quorum. See your meeting minutes, consent meeting minutes. Are there any corrections to the meeting minutes dated June 8th, 2026 that were distributed? All right, no corrections, and that's approved as distributed. I think the only business here is the FEC team update.
Okay, good. So the big one of the last quarter in action took place last weekend was the 3 sold out Billy String shows. So you remember last time when we were here, these were scheduled, supposed to be in April, supposed to be Q2 financials. He broke his leg skateboarding. So these were shifted to this August. So we were fortunate to keep it in this calendar year or this budget year. So huge event for the Fishers Event Center, community benefiting from it as well. So we had an event Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. All 3 had sold out well in advance. A lot of Fishers residents were here too when we look at where ticket buyers came from, but a ton of people traveling into town, dining at restaurants. With his types of shows, he plays a different set list every night, so it's a little different than traditional music. So a lot of people will buy tickets and go to all 3 shows or at least 2 of them. So we do get a lot of the repeat business, which does make it a little bit easier, like wayfinding and where things are in the venue as you get to show 2 and 3. A lot of the customers have figured it out. So this was a big one for us, utilizing the Forum Credit Union Plaza. That's been a focus for us this calendar year, whether that's pre-show events like this one or the World Cup watch parties that we were doing throughout June and July. So we programmed the plaza every day of the 3 events. So each day starting at 3 o'clock, we opened the plaza. That was a free, anybody from the public could come. You didn't have to have a concert ticket because he also sells merchandise before the show starts. So we open the plaza every day at 3. They would give people access to the merchandise stands at 4:30. So that was the same thing. If you don't have a ticket, you could still come down and buy merchandise. So a lot of people coming throughout the 3 days just to enjoy it. Just kind of the nature of their show. They have a GA pit, and then the merchandise for the posters is a big deal. So we started to utilize the exterior marquee. You'll see the bottom left picture. My eyes aren't good enough to read that, but I think it says general admission with an arrow going to the left. So we started to utilize our marquee, not just to update what shows are coming, but also like how do we get people that haven't been to the venue to be able to navigate a little bit easier. So the GA pit line, people were lining up when I got to work Wednesday morning at 7:45 in the morning. There's 12 people outside in lawn chairs.
I know I walked out Friday night, people are already lined up for the Saturday show.
Yeah.
Really? Is that right?
So there was people that like didn't have a ticket to that night's show that would be in line while there's a show going on. And then people dump out onto the plaza and just get back in line to wait for the next morning.
Jeez.
So every morning at 10 a.m., they would wristband the first 100, and that's what for access to the pit, so you could be up close. So those people would wait overnight to be one of the first 100, and then there was a separate line where our slide markings would show that, where you could line up early for merchandise that would open at 4:30. Each night is a different poster, and they're all trying to get specific posters and the low numbers of the posters. So from Wednesday at 7:45 till probably 1 a.m. Sunday, there was just people on the property 24/7, just continuous.
How
So
much is a poster?
I think there were 30 folks.
Smart marketing.
Yeah.
You had a cool racing shirt, had a Indy 500 car, Fishers,
Really?
and I had the original date, but they scratched it out and put the new dates on the other side.
So they crashed it out with
Yeah.
a skateboard. That's
Oh.
So we started to use the wayfinding signage. So it's general admission, pointing people over there, what hours we have merchandise, what the schedule of the day is with plaza opening, early merchandise, recommended entrances based on where you're sitting, things like that. So we'll keep pushing that more for these plaza events to be able to keep the public informed of schedules. And then with a lot of our events, we try to do something outside, like photo activation, with as much as people are on social media, providing these unique opportunities where people take photos in front of it, just tag us, and the Fishers Event Center just continues to be out there in the public. So the middle picture's just this like street pole kind of sign with Fishers Event Center on the bottom, and then it's kind of memorable cities where he plays regularly or are in his songs mean something to him. So that was a big photo opportunity. And then there was a car that is in his, or a similar car is on his album cover. So we had a old one that was beat up and a piece of it repainted to Billy Strings Fishers Event Center. And then there was like a block you could sit on to look like you're driving it. So tons of pictures, and that's just all over the place. These are some more ones. So car top left, the sign again. A lot of these fans, they like trade, I'll say like trinkets. So there's stickers that fans create and they trade with each other. There's like the clothespins that they trade and like they write Billy Strings, Fishers, and the date. And it's just all this like creative community. So our staff, I thought, did a phenomenal job embracing it. Not just our staff, our third parties and like the police department and fire.
I told Megan, I understand why Pete Peterson's such a big fan. It's all checks now.
But everybody came together to embrace it, and like we've got a picture in here of like these guitar picks on everybody, one that we had created, and like Fishers Event Center and Billy Strings and the dates on them, and like just our staff handing them out to fans, and they appreciated that. Like the last parking guys have all these like clothespins on their hats that fans had given them because they're running crosswalks for 3 days. So the response on social media has just been outstanding with how welcoming Fishers was and how great the staff was at the venue and creating this experience. So that's just some of their stickers they create for individual shows. It's a little different where most artists are like pretty protective with their name, image, likeness type stuff. The vendors that we had out on the plaza, and they're completely okay with, sell their own Billy Strings merchandise, and people in the parking lot and like stickers and things like that. It was a unique one. I don't know if we have a picture of it or not. They asked us, we were talking Friday night or Thursday night with them about doing these World Cup watch parties because they said they love the marquee and like how nice the community is and clean and walkable. And we were talking about the marquee and playing these live games and movies and things we've done. And they're like, so if we gave you the feed to the show, could you put it on there outside? Because there's people outside who don't have tickets. They're just hanging out. So for the Friday and Saturday event, it was live on the marquee with sound for anybody who just wanted to walk up. So there was 50 to 100 people out there just dancing each night, hanging out.
That's
It
cool.
was an experience.
Larry, did you go to 2 or all 3?
I didn't go to any of them. I couldn't get a ticket.
So then the right picture is just like some of the vendors highlighting just kind of the look and feel of what was here. And then that daily schedule, just kind of utilizing the marquee to keep attendees aware of what was happening, the guitar picks on the right that we were handing out.
That's funny.
And then the hockey helmet in the middle. So unfortunately, a fan threw a lighter on stage night 1 that hit him in the head. So I got a call, it would have been Friday, before the second show, asked him like, hey, can you get him a hockey helmet with a face mask or a visor on it? So we didn't know what he was going to do with it, if it was a picture or if he was actually going to wear it. So he actually walked out on stage in an Indy Fuel hockey helmet, and he played his first 2 songs in the helmet. And that kind of like set the tone of the day.
That's great.
A good experience, good vibe. So just a really neat, awesome touring show. Great financial win for us. Huge food and beverage sales and selling a lot of tickets. So community events, just looking at the last quarter, I think we were talking about these last time, or my team was, that they were coming. So the US made a little bit of a run. So we ended up hosting 6 of these. I think 5 were the US games. And then the last one, we hosted the just World Cup final on July 19th. Those were great. That was our kind of first dip into doing live TV or any type of movie on the marquee. Good response, had 5,000 people total show up for these, so about 1,000 a piece. A really good, not a huge financial win, but a great community event that is just free, and anybody from Fishers, surrounding communities can bring a lawn chair, a blanket, and kind of gather with neighbors and friends. So fun events to do. Do some more of those. And then graduation season, so hosting the 2 in-town ones, then a couple other ones there this year as well. Supporting locals, so volunteering, our staff was out doing that at the Agri Park. That's turned into an annual one for us, going out there and helping. Our crew likes doing that. Then we introduced Pure Pour. So you may have seen that in the concourse if you've been there in the last few months. So that is a kind of a vending machine concept, but it's all different varieties of non-alcoholic beers, non-alcoholic drinks. So that one has started to pick up. They actually had to come out and refill it twice during the Billy Strings run. So good traction there and provides some unique offerings and some things that you typically don't get in arenas. And then Ohana, they are the coffee vendor that's up in the North Club. They kind of continuously like refresh their products as we do ours. So they've got a HSC and Fisher's turkey soda offering up there. Some team building ones. So we try to get our 3 tenants together with the venue staff. This is just a kind of a summertime thing, bring everybody together and have some camaraderie with our 3 sports teams, and kind of brings us a little bit closer, I think, and helps us be better communicators. So we do a pickleball tournament when there's nothing on the floor for a couple hours, and then a kickball event on the turf when the Freights field is down. So survey results here. Every ticketed event we do at the event center, we send out survey results or surveys out to ticket buyers after the event. So people fill these out. These are kind of some of the core things we're focused on and chasing as we operate the venue. So 2025 on top, 2026 on the bottom. Simple terms, we're just trying to move all these dots to the right as far as we can. So 2025, we had talked like parking took a little bit while to figure out, some adjustments made there. That one, I think it was like 57% there, and we're up to 76 there. All of these are moving to the right pretty steadily. Like even cleanliness, like that should have been really high out of the gate. Like we were given a brand new building. It was clean. So we started at 96%, but now we're up to 98 right now. So proud of the work our staff's doing there. 2025, I think it's 7 of those categories below 76%. And this year we don't have any of those right there. So good story there of just continuously managing the facility and moving things, in this case, to the right or making them better. Culinary side, so a lot of focus, as it has been from day one, to have unique items for each event. So really proud of the overall food and beverage program that we have, but also just our willingness to continue to introduce unique items for each event. So the ones on the left, Bluegrass, that's all Billy String stuff that was specific for this weekend that we created. A lot of them kind of tie in with like song names and parts of the country and things like that. The 2 on the right were World Cup, so kind of USA Dippin' Dots, goal line tachos. So just trying to have unique offerings for each of our events. And then upcoming, so you guys saw this one last time, a few more added here since we last met a couple months ago. I think Sam Barber was in that. AEW and bull riding announced last week. So that one's a return one as well. So bull riding, we had the 2 sold out events last year. Just went on sale last week with that one. So back half of the year, I think Tony had mentioned last time as well, way heavier fall this year than spring for touring shows. We're loaded up the rest of the way, and I think we're adding a few more here. Okay. And that's it. So Tony can run through the numbers too.
Increase my print on 12. Next time we'll have to go a little bit more. So somebody may have to share. Yeah, we'll share. Okay, so the last time we had met, kind of had to walk through where we are at on an event count standpoint. And at that point, we were recently coming off of the postponement of Billy Strings. So if you're looking at the top line from a event revenue stand, really there's two significant items. If you look at the bottom line of income for loss compared to the forecasted loss. On the event side, our event count in total for the first half of the year, we're at 65 confirmed events versus 64 or 74 that were budgeted. If you look on the right side in the narrative section, you can see a breakdown of the events that we've had so far through the year. On the left side is the actual, on the right side is the budgeted. So primarily where we are short in the first half of the year is if you look at the concerts and other entertainment events. So we have three actual versus 9 budgeted concerts, and then 2 other entertainment versus 6 other entertainment events. So as we're seeing, shifting Billy Strings from the second quarter to the third quarter is a significant timing impact to the financials. If you're looking at the bottom line, originally we would have had those results in the second quarter. It's going to be a boon for the third quarter. As Mitch had shown on that previous schedule, our second half of the year is shaping up to be a lot stronger than the first half of the year. Right now we've got 16 touring shows, including Big Ten, that will be coming through in the second half of the year. For a comparison standpoint, last year we had 10 in the second half of the year. So the second half is shaping up to be much stronger. So
The Big Ten did sell through their whole allotment of all session tickets too. So, 5 days, 7 sessions.
yeah.
So it's a good week-long one.
So that said, event count is that they're going to be the primary driver in the income section. We're going to see some of that flip back in the second half just from timing of how the events have occurred throughout the year. And then one thing on the event side that we have done, which isn't necessarily visible through here, on the F&B side, we've made strides on our labor management, just the way events are being staffed, getting familiar with how traffic runs through the venue and the type of shows that we have. So we've had a 3% decrease or 3% increase in margin, 3% decrease in labor with food and beverage from last year. And we've got a couple things that we're working on for fourth quarter and going into next year where we should see further reduction. When we first opened, predominantly most of the concessions were operated by NPOs, just from an ability to be able to staff those. We wanted to make sure we were able to hit the ground running. We've been able to reduce some of the NPO rates that we have to get some savings there, as well as create our own internal team, which we did not have when we opened. So we kind of cherry picked some specific hot spots in the building that we feel can be manned by internal staff, and it's cheaper to do with internal labor. The problem there, you can't do everything internal because of the turnover that we have from season to season. So we're trying to supplement our approach with some cheaper in-house labor. The other piece, main piece of the financial, if you look on the operating expenses, you can see we're down, or actually decreased our operating expenses almost 10% year over year. So we've seen significant savings in utilities management, just from initially moving into the building, learning how the building flows, operates, what we can do, what we can't do when on an event schedule, as far as how much we can tune things in and out with the building. And then also in March, we signed a contract with a third party gas company that reduced just our gas itself, the cost, by 12%. So when you look through the first half of the year overall, 2025 versus 2026, 2025, we were at an average of about $2,400 a day in utilities. And for 2026, we reduced that to 1,750, so almost a 28% decrease year over year. So that's a big piece of that operating expense savings. So I know that's pretty brief, but those are really the two big components when you're comparing actual the forecast that gets us to where we're at. Like I said, second half of the year, we're expecting to be much stronger, even as we move out towards 2027. We've had some promising leads on some multi-year contracts that will help us lock in more of the dates as we move year over year.
Drinks revenue wise? Not yet, too early?
Yeah, a little, I
Too
mean,
early?
a singular event would be really, need one, like 3 of them is
Huge.
fast. I mean, it'll be the biggest.
It'd be enough to flip the current year where we're actual to a positive.
Yes.
I think we talked about this, but just trying to understand the impact to us, the city, from what they're doing with, what we realize from ticket sales sharing, got the F&B, what else? I mean, there are a variety of sources. Parking, right, parking.
That's right. But as far as this body's primarily concerned, is that contractual $3 ticket fee that comes to us. And so that's where the budget amount is about $1 million that goes toward debt service payment, right? And so they're on track with that.
Good.
So that's the big ticket. All of our other revenue streams that go into that, our pilot, our food and beverage is actually far exceeding our expectations. So as far as hitting our about $11 million debt service payment, we feel really confident
That's good.
from the city side of things. So it's to their point, flipping that negative to a positive, which likely occurred from building streams over the weekend, and finishing out positive so we can build out capital replacement plan and things of that nature
Gotcha.
on that fund over there. But as far as the debt service payment fund, it's really that $1 million we got to get generated out of revenue from them.
So just then, the facility net, whether it's positive or negative, if it's negative, would that be the city obligation to make up the deficit?
Correct.
If it's positive, where's the money state, then you get into capital expenditures or other?
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think, my guess is just based on what you were saying with increase in concerts and other things, it's gonna be
It should look.
resulting.
Yeah.
You guys did the shakedown street. Are you guys able to sell food or beverage out there or not?
Yeah, so the plaza, we kind of managed, controlled that. So we sold the vendor spaces, we lined up the food trucks and take a commission on that. And then we sell outside alcohol, control that there. So picked up that. I mean, there's some extra staffing that comes with people on site 24 hours a day. But definitely a positive doing that, like adding to the experience and financial sides.
It was easy to get in and out.
Yeah.
I mean,
So what side did you park on, east or west?
well, yes, I parked east VIP Friday night because we hosted
Oh,
clients.
well, you show off.
But then Saturday, like I got, the same suite owner called me and was like, I can't handle bluegrass 2 nights in a row. Can you just go? I know everyone in the suite. So I'm like, yeah, sure. So we didn't even pull in until 7:30 and it was easy.
Correct.
Had no one standing in line. I mean, both nights were easy to get in the parking lot, get into the facility. Walk around was paying $1 because everyone's standing in line for their shirts, but
I think a note on the ingress and egress, quite honestly, I think Billy Strings weekend was the most accurate forecast of what it's going to look like when we're built out around there. That their fans show up really early, right? So we think when we're, everything's built out around there, people will show up for dinner or whatever ahead of time. And so a number of times I drove it, some other folks drove because we're super nerds. About 7:00 on Thursday, drove it several times and had people timing it. And the worst time from Portillo's into parked, what will be the public parking, was 4 minutes. Like the very worst time. So we think that's a really good indicator as to what will come for the ingress experience. And then the egress, I was looking at the LAS emails. They send an email every single time following on the major events. I think the average was like 34, 35 minutes for fully flooding out on egress, both sides of the paid public parking. I think that's also indicative that folks weren't in a hustle, right? A lot of folks were getting out and hanging out. So I think 34, 35 for a sold out crowd is fantastic. So really positive forecasting is what that experience is going to look like, I think, in 24 months from now.
I do think it'd be, I mean, and I know you can't predict the weather, but when you've got a known sold out event, to somehow do something in the plaza and open it up early, because then it just allows more people to come.
Yeah, I
in.
mean, you're spot on. It helps ingress too, like people arriving earlier and like
Yeah.
already.
Yeah, they're already there.
This and the same thing, like you probably saw it leaving the show, like there's people coming out the Honda entrance, like going back to the plaza
Yeah.
to meet people and hang out, and going out in the lots and coming back. So I think he's right, like a lot of that foot traffic is, we'll see something similar to that when everything's built out around us and not everybody dumping to their cars and leaving all at once.
I did notice Friday, like the amount of people that must have parked at the district and walked. I mean, like large.
It was awesome. It was great to see that, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Thursday
Like,
too.
man, if you're trying to eat dinner and you don't know what the hell is going on. Parking spot.
Yeah, but good pedestrian flow as well, which I thought was, positive for all the stuff that's being built out around there.
Especially if more of the sidewalks get built, it'll be easier to.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Any other questions?
Yeah, wait.
All right, if nothing else, call the meeting adjourned at 4:26.